It's Crimson Week here on the Outlaw of College Football, and for each and every show, I'm going to start with my crimson-colored glasses because we are guaranteed to have a crimson victory this week of some sort. And today we're going to do a reaction video with Gabe Ikard on the next round, as we've had some great interaction between Alabama podcasters and Oklahoma podcasters, because that's what we do. We're the greatest blue bloods of all time. We are the gold bloods of college football. Let's talk about it.
Born and bred in Tuscaloosa, not raised in Baton Rouge. Didn't ride no wagon train to Norman or to Boone. They said I'd never make it, just a name they overlook. Now I'm burning up their game plans and ripping up their books. No 5-star shine, no silver spoon. I came up grinding on a Friday night moons. Now they feel me coming like a fourth down blitz. Got them talking sideways, throwing fits. But I must admit, I can't quit. 'Cause I'm the outlaw of college football. Ain't no stripes can hold me back. I don't need their legacy or no booster money stack. I don't bow to no.
This is the home of the common Joe and the common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. But here are some few media talking heads here. These are actually some pretty good old boys. Old Gabe Ikard from the Oklahoma Breakdown, along with a few guys from my state the next round. Let's check this interview out. Had some interesting stuff that was said, and I'd like to get y'all's reaction to it, and I'll give my reaction off and on as well.
Gabe Ikard, former All-American for the Oklahoma Sooners, and he is part of the #1 Oklahoma Sooner podcast in all of America, and he's with us now. What is up, Gabe? How are you?
Doing very well, gentlemen. It is a rather big weekend for Oklahoma football, so very excited to be with you guys and talk about what is probably the biggest game in the Brent Venables era at Oklahoma.
Well, that's a lot of pressure right there. But I think you're right. The Oklahoma Breakdown is the name of the podcast, at OK_breakdown. If you want to see more, he and Teddy Lehman doing it. I mean, it's hard to avoid that. I mean, this is a do-or-die game in terms of playoffs, and we were discussing this yesterday. The clock is ticking on any coach at a major program that hasn't made the college football playoffs in 3-4 years. So for Brent Venables, I mean, that clock is going to start ticking very loudly if you can't find a way to get there.
Yeah, I think that when you look at what's going on with the coaching carousel this season, it's pretty crazy, and you see all these big jobs opening. I don't think Venables is coaching for his job or anything like that with this game. I think the administration is.
Now, I agree with him here that he's not coaching for his job with this game, and that's only because they beat Tennessee. Now, if they lost Tennessee, things would have been a little bit different. But I will say this, and he's probably going to touch on it later. Losing this game will not cost Brent Venables his job. That is true. But if he loses to Missouri and LSU, I think we're having a different conversation at the end of the year, possibly.
Is pleased with where the program is at. And I think that with the way that this season has gone, with this schedule, and you still have to finish it out strong with these last 3 games, but I think everyone acknowledges that this thing is headed on the right track, and there are going to be some very high expectations for this program next season. But you go and win one in Tuscaloosa, and then everything's on the table for this season. Now, clearly, that is going to be very difficult with the type of ball that Kalen DeBoer's team is playing, especially offensively, with the way that Ty Simpson is playing.
Got to stop him right there. I don't know if he's actually been watching Alabama football as closely as he needs to, because while in the beginning of the year, yeah, we were doing great, middle of the year too. Here recently, Alabama's offense hasn't been that great, Gabe. So just saying that might not be your issue. Actually, the great play of Alabama's defense here as of late is what's won Alabama most of their games.
And with that dangerous wide receiver core. But yeah, I think this was coming into the season. There were certainly a lot of conversations about where Venables stood with his job status at Oklahoma. I think those conversations have pretty much died, especially after the win in Knoxville, boys.
After, though, 25 years of both Bob Stoops, a guy you played for, and Lincoln Riley, I mean, it was just 10 wins every year, and it was, playing for championships. And now you've had peaks and valleys when it comes to the tenure of Brent Venables. Fan approval, it really doesn't mean much unless fans stop showing up. And I know Oklahoma's a long way from that. But twofold, what do you think the fan approval is right now for Venables? And what do you think the travel party will look like this weekend coming to Tuscaloosa?
A lot of OU fans are excited to make the trip. So there were a lot of OU fans in Knoxville for that game. And we typically travel very, very well. And you got to remember, OU hasn't played in Tuscaloosa since 2003.
And that's one of the reasons why Oklahoma was added to the SEC, because they can travel well. That's the way all teams in the SEC do, because that's what SEC football is. It's not just successful football, it's loyal, passionate football from all of our fans, and that's why Oklahoma is in the SEC.
So it's been a long, long time since Sooner Nation's been able to make a trip to go play, go cheer for their team in one of the best venues in all of college football. So I expect there to be a lot of OU fans. And then as far as fan approval for Venables, he's done everything this fan base wants him to do except for win at the highest level. When you look at the program as a whole,
well, winning at the highest level is a very big, big thing as far as job security goes. Just saying.
You feel good about, and I know people may not care about this very much anymore. It's all about wins and losses, but you feel good about the type of dudes he's bringing into the program. The character that these young men that are representing the fan base have, that's been a strong point for Venables. Now, the 2 losing seasons, that's not going to fly at a place like Oklahoma, and no one knows better than BV when it comes to that. But he just has to get over the hump when it comes to putting together a special season. And if John Mateer doesn't suffer the hand injury, maybe this would have been that season, and it still has a chance to be a special season for Oklahoma. But
that I agree with. Had John Mateer not injured his hand, I think he would have been playing a little better and a little more loosely than he is right now. He seems a little more timid now. I don't know if he's really timid, but seems like he's just not been the same guy since doing the surgery.
To me, it feels like next year, if you get Mateer back, we're going to start 3 freshmen on the offensive line on Saturday in Tuscaloosa. You've got a bunch of pieces that'll be back defensively. Like next year feels like the year where Brent Venables and then Jim Nagy and this front office may look at it and go, okay, this is one of those types of years to go all in, if you will. But yeah, I think the fan base really likes Brent. They like his toughness. They like his energy. They like that he's made defense great again at Oklahoma. They love that. But
was that sort of a MAGA invocation there? Make defense great again. Well, Brent has done that. He would be elected as the president of the United States today if that was a great political slogan. But yeah, he's made defense great again.
They have to start competing at the highest level. And when you look at where they're at for this season, as far as the college football playoff, like they're right on the edge. And clearly what happens on Saturday afternoon in Tuscaloosa is going to have a huge role in what the rest of the season looks like for the Sooners.
For the game on the field this weekend, Gabe, our Mason Thomas, do you
Do you expect him to play? If so, is he closer to 100% than he has been? What's his status? And then on John Mateer, how healthy do you really think Mateer is? How's that thumb impacting his play still on both those big playmakers on each side of the ball?
Those are the two most important players on the football team. And it was just so unfortunate that R. Mason Thomas got hurt on that great play that frankly changed the entire complexion of that game in Knoxville. But with just the way that it looked, anytime you're talking about a quad, and it looked like a pretty severe strain to me, just the way that he was walking on the sideline after suffering that injury. I'll be surprised if he plays. The Mateer situation is interesting. Like, the guy has displayed great toughness. All you have to do is go watch the Texas game, and it's pretty clear he was nowhere near the guy he was early in the season before the injury. And I still don't think he's gotten back to being that guy. He has said all the right things publicly. I'm of the belief that thumb hurts a lot more than he has led people to believe, just from some of the things I've seen from him.
Once again, I agree with Ikard on this. I agree with Gabe in that I think he's not really letting on how much pain that thumb still is causing him. I think there's some discomfort, especially. I definitely think that there's some discomfort going on with that thumb still. But with the week off, maybe that heals it up a little bit better, and maybe he gets back to being the quarterback he was earlier in the year, which would be great for Oklahoma. Maybe not great for Alabama, my team.
In the passing game, up to this point, if you go back and you watch some of the throws he had against Michigan, and you compare it to the way it's looked the last couple of weeks, there's a noticeable difference in velocity and just the way that he's cutting it loose. And I think that has a lot to do with him still trying to get back from having that thumb surgery. One encouraging thing that we saw from Mateer against Tennessee was he got back to being more aggressive as a runner. The way that he was finishing runs, not being afraid to get hit. Like,
now this right here could spell trouble for Alabama. Alabama in the past, as we all know, our Booger Boo has always been that running quarterback that can actually pass the ball rather well. And John Mateer is that. So if he's back to being aggressive as a runner, that could cause Alabama some issues.
Running through tackles, falling forward, fighting for the extra yards. And he did it quite a bit. So that was encouraging. That was kind of a sign to me that he's starting to feel a little better physically and starting to trust it a little more. And the Sooners had a bye week after it. So I think that was kind of he was taking some calculated risks, knowing that he was going to have a week to recover. But he has not been the same guy since the injury. He just has not, especially as a passer. And most noticeably, he's just looked uncomfortable in the pocket, which was not really the case early in the season. He hasn't attacked the middle of the field in the passing game like he did early in the season. And I'm hopeful that he's going to be as healthy as he's been post-surgery, and that will reflect and kind of give the passing game a boost that frankly has been missing these last couple games.
Did you know that many Medicare Advantage plans are going to change for 2026? This year, it is more important than ever that you meet with your local independent insurance agent to make sure you have the right coverage for 2026. You've seen the ads and gotten the spam calls from people you can't even look in the face. Timothy is a licensed independent agent in Oklahoma that is contracted with multiple carriers, which means he can help you shop multiple companies to find the right plan for you. He's not some faceless guy that's calling you from God knows where. If you or someone you love is on Medicare or is about to age into Medicare, reach out to Timothy and let him help you make sense of it all. This AEP from October 15th through December 7th. Timothy is available to help Oklahoma residents find the right plan. Tell him the Outlaw sent you. You can reach Tim at 888-771-9711 or go to TimothyKnowsMedicare.com. Timothy Knows Medicare is not affiliated with the government. Timothy is an independent insurance agent that works for you, the client.
Hotline. Have you noticed defenses as they've had a little more tape on Ben Arbuckle and this offense, Ben Arbuckle's offense in this league, start to defend a little differently? I mean, has there been some adjustment that you've noticed where, as these SEC defensive coordinators have seen a little more, they've started to defend Oklahoma a little differently?
There's always going to be adjustments, right? And frankly, I think Ben Arbuckle has done a really good job. And anyone that listens to our podcast knows that, especially with the Ole Miss game, that I believe the quarterback left a lot of yards and a lot of points on the field that day. Arbuckle has schemed some things up, especially in the passing game, that there's really no other way to say it. Like, Materia's just missed. And that's got to be extremely frustrating for Ben Arbuckle and for that offensive staff.
So I hear a lot of Oklahoma fans sometimes getting on Ben Arbuckle, talking negatively about him and how he's calling plays and whatnot. But from what Gabe is saying here, he's calling some pretty good stuff. He's schematically putting Materia in the situations that he needs to be in, but Materia is not converting.
I think he's done a really nice job with the passing game, and the production just hasn't been as good as I think the design and the play calling has been. And then the running game has just been a bit of a struggle as a whole, but recently I think Ben Arbuckle and the staff have done a good job of putting the tight ends in a better position to succeed as blockers in the run game. We've seen Ryan Foje be inserted at right tackle, a true freshman who's playing some really good ball. We've seen Eddie Pierre-Louis inserted at the left guard position. He's not a technician, but the guy plays. And then Xavier Robinson has really emerged at the running back spot. But
that's another guy. That's a guy that Caleb Breeze has been hyping up since day one. So I got to give him his kudos. When nobody else was talking about Xavier Robinson, if they can get the ball to the X-Man, as I call him, I know a lot of y'all like to call him X-Rob or Rob X or whatever, but I'll just call him the X-Man. If they can get the ball more to Xavier Robinson and he's having a pretty good day, they may need to lean on him, because Alabama's defense, while it has been improving a lot, the run defense has been the spot where people think that maybe they can exploit Alabama's defense. But like I said, it seems like the defense is coming around to that, so it may not be there. But don't hurt to try. Give the ball to the X-Man.
The running game as a whole, Alabama's not going to look at it on tape and go, oh my gosh, they're doing all this insanely creative stuff that we haven't seen. That's not what it is. They've got a handful of concepts that I think they've gotten really comfortable with. Split zone, zone insert, some of the counter stuff, kind of a duo combination, like a hybrid between duo and inside zone. And they've kind of just rolled with that. And they found a little more success, I think, just reducing the number of concepts and just trying to get good at a couple. And the running game has gotten better over the last month. But looking at this matchup between Alabama and OU, I don't think Alabama's defense is going to turn on the tape and go, oh my gosh, look at what this offense is doing. Like, this stuff is crazy. They go against that offense that the Crimson Tide has every day in practice and all offseason. Like, they know what explosive playmakers look like. They know what good quarterback play looks like. It's going to come down to me. OU's offensive success is going to be dependent on how the offensive line plays. If they can match and exceed the physicality of what I believe is an underrated front for Alabama. I like the core of the defense with Overton. I'm a big fan of Justin Jefferson. He's not that big, but he plays big. And I think that's that's where this game is going to be decided. I know that everyone's looking at Bama's offense versus the OU defense, and I get that's the marquee matchup, right? But really, I think this game gets.
Really, it's not the marquee matchup. Like he's probably fixing to go into, the real matchup is going to be flipped. It's going to be Alabama's defense versus Oklahoma's offense. Because like I said, our offense hasn't been that great the last couple of weeks.
It's decided by the other matchup, by Bama's defense versus the OU offense, and which group can find the advantage when those units are on the field.
Yeah, back to the running game. Xavier Robinson has been solid. Torrey Blaylock's been solid. But the guy that you thought would be a difference maker coming into the year, Jade Knott. I know he hurt the shoulder in fall camp, and he just hasn't gotten the touches. I mean, are you a little – is it all injury related, or is there a little bit more to the Jade Knott situation?
I went out to training camp, and he was already up with the shoulder situation. And he wasn't really practicing consistently. And I think once he started practicing, the other guys were just practicing at a higher level. I don't think it's any more complicated than that. He's gotten some opportunities this season, and frankly, he just didn't do much with them, with the opportunities he got early in the season. So,
and this is why the transfer portal and the NIL need different rules, because this was wasted money for Oklahoma on this guy named Jade Knott. It infuriates me that the transfer portal and the NIL is the way it is. And I know they can do something better to curb this, to keep teams like Oklahoma or Alabama or Ohio State or anybody from getting burnt.
It will be a surprise if he's a factor at all in this game, because he has not been in the mix for this team in a long time. So that is, it's surprising because he was the number one running back in the portal, and it was a big deal when we were able to land him, but it hasn't worked out. And I think the most surprising thing is when he's been on the field and he's gotten some touches, he just hasn't looked very explosive. He hasn't looked like the guy that was one of the best running backs in the country 2 seasons ago. Why that's the case, I don't really know. But, yeah, this Saturday, I don't expect Jay not to be a factor at all. It's going to be Xavier Robinson and Torrey Blaylock there at the running back spot for the Sooners. It will be my first trip to T-Town, so I am very excited. Very excited. Thanks for having me, all.
Yeah, buddy, we appreciate it. If you need dinner recommendations, just shoot me a text. We'll let you know. Okay?
I've been told that I'm going to dinner where OU Athletic Director Joe Castiglione is taking us.
That's a smart play.
So you guys and gals, tell me what you think about all that. They didn't get a prediction from him. I would have liked to have had a prediction from Gabe Ikard on the game, but they didn't do that nonetheless. But y'all drop it in the comments section. Let me know what you think about all that. And also, if you don't mind, you can donate to the program. You'll see it coming across the scroll down here with the Gold Club members. We got demonetized for resharing Charlie Kirk videos in my short section. You can donate to the program and help me get around this unfair censorship. Money $ JPC316 on Cash App and JPC316 on Venmo. With that, I'm out of here. KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now dismissed.